Hello everyone, welcome to AI Anytime channel. In today's video, we are going to build an Streamlit application, a GPT-3 powered text analytics application where we will use GPT-3 model, OpenAI GPT-3 models like DaVinci 3, and then we'll also use Spacy for named entity recognition. So we'll perform NER on text, and then we'll also find out some key insights. Okay, like we'll have some visual representation with the help of WordCloud. We'll also find some most positive words in the text, and we'll also find out a summary of the text. Okay, and we are going to utilize OpenAI GPT-3 model, and we're also going to use Spacy and couple of other libraries to perform this task. Okay, and we will create the Streamlit application in end. Okay, so let me go back to the VS Code. So these are the requirements that we need. Okay, that OpenAI to interact with the APIs on OpenAI, and then we need Spacy to perform named entity recognition, and we also need WordCloud and NLTK, Natural Language Toolkit. Okay, so if you haven't used OpenAI APIs yet, what you have to do, you have to go to this platform.openai.com website, and you have to create an account, or you can also sign in with your social accounts like Gmail, for example. You can also use your Google account to log in into OpenAI platform. And once you successfully logged in, you can go to this option called View API Keys, and then you will find out some of the APIs listed over here. Okay, they also have an option called Playground where you can play with some of the examples. Like if you see the load up preset where they have a lot of examples already there for you, you can test it out. Like they have Q&A, they have classification if you want to classify text between maybe positive, negative, or neutral, and you can also do question answering on your text data. Okay, so this is the playground that you have. And what we are going to do, we are going to use this model text DaVinci 3. So DaVinci 3 is the most capable model. I have couple of other videos as well where we have used DaVinci 3 to create some kind of applications, simple applications like readme generator or minutes of meeting generation using DaVinci 3. It is I think based on instruct GPT. Okay, and very powerful when you compare to other models like Ada or Babbage or Curie, right? And we are going to use their API to perform this task, like finding out key insights and summaries and most positive words, and then we'll use Spacy for NER. So let's go back to VS Code, and I'll create a file called app.py. So here we will write our Python code. We'll write the code for Streamlit and all the functions that we need to perform this task. And first of all, we have to install these requirements, OpenAI Spacy Streamlit. And how do we do that? So if you go back to the terminal, I have already installed. What I will do, I will first activate my virtual environment. So I have installed all these dependencies inside a virtual environment. It's a good practice to install libraries in a virtual environment so you don't mess with the other project that you have, right, due to some version conflicts. And so Python 3, I'm on Ubuntu, and then what I will do, I'll just say I have to go into cd.venv, which is the folder name of my virtual environment, and then on Ubuntu I have to do bin. If you are on Windows, you have to do scripts. And then what I will do, source activate to activate that virtual environment. When I hit the source activate, you will see that I have venv activated now. Okay, so I'll just do a couple of cd dot to go to the main directory, and you'll see that I am inside this text analytics folder, and I'll just clear it out. And here we will here we will install and run our code. Okay, so if you haven't installed, you have to do pip3 install -r and requirements.txt to install all these libraries. We have all these libraries over here. We need python.env because we would like to keep our credentials, the API keys, the OpenAI API keys inside this env. Okay, it's a good practice, as you should not show these API keys when you are deploying in the production, or if you're pushing your code to GitHub, right? So that's why we use these env files to store our sensitive data. and then we have WordCloud to generate the WordCloud. We'll talk about it in a bit. So you can install it with this command. I'm not going to install that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create that app.py file here, and once I have app.py, I will start writing the code. So import Streamlit as st, and Streamlit is the most powerful web framework. I'll say it's a library in Python that you can use to create powerful applications. So if you haven't used Streamlit, you can go to Streamlit documentation. This is Streamlit, and you can come over here. That's their website, which is a faster way to build and share data apps. They also provide you cloud where you can deploy your Streamlit applications. If you haven't used Streamlit, you can also look at the other video that I have created in past, and I also have created a video where I have shown that how you can deploy the Streamlit application in free. Okay, so you go on docs, you can find out all their Streamlit documentation over here. You can see the documentation we have over here. So what I'm going to do now, let me just bring up my monitor. So yeah, so the first thing we need to have an input area where we'll input our text. Okay, so the first thing that, okay, let me do import Streamlit as st, and how you can write or create a Streamlit application very fast. Okay, it's very fast and it's very easy for prototyping. If you have some models you want to do the inferencing, if you want to create a prototype, you can easily use Streamlit, right? So very simple functions to use. So first is st.title, where I would like to give a title to my application, and that I can call it GPT3 powered GPT-3 powered text analytics app. So I can call this st.title, and now let's do one thing. Let's just save it and run this. So how do we run an Streamlit application? It's very simple. So what we do, we say Streamlit run app.py, which is the file name. So if you see, my file name is app.py, so I'm just doing Streamlit run app.py. When you hit enter, it will give you a network URL, and it will redirect you to localhost 8501 automatically in the browser. So you can see this is the title, GPT3 powered text analytics app. This is going to be our app name, okay, or the app's title. So let me just do one thing. So as I said, we need a text area, okay, where we will enter the text, and how we can do that. So let's define a variable called input text, and in this input text, what I will do, I'll use their text area function. They have text input function as well, which is kind of a single line or single sentence, but I need a text area where I can enter multiple lines or multi-lines, right? So st text area, and I'll say here enter your text. I'll just assign the label, so enter your text, that's it. And now if you go back to the browser, you just have an option called rerun. So if you click on the rerun, it will load you this input box, enter your text. Okay, so if you can see it carefully here, we have this inside a container. Okay, if we have knowledge of web technologies, so there are containers and container fluids, right? If you see, it's in the middle of the app, middle of the tab or the browser that we have. This resolution, if you see it over here, right? What we can also do, we can utilize the full width of this window. Okay, so if you, for example, if you don't want to keep this in container or container fluid, you want to utilize the whole area, you can also do that. How do we do that? So let's do that. So that should be your first line. When in your Streamlit application, we have to use this st.set page config. So if I do set, you see this option, set page config, and here we are going to use the layout parameter, and that will be your width. So I'm going to say wide, and this would be your first line in your Streamlit application if you are writing it. So st.title GPT3 powered text analytics app. Now let's go back to this, and now you can see we are utilizing the full width, GPT3 powered text analytics app, and enter your text. Okay, so far we have this enter your text option and GPT3 power text. This is the title, this is the kind of a label, and then we have this text area. Let's have a button now. We'll call it analyze text button. Then what we do, we come here and say, hey, if st.button and we call it analyze text. What we can also do, let's do not do that. Okay, we first need to check if there is any value inside input text. Okay, we do not want to hit the button without any value. So what I'm going to do, let's check that. So what we are doing here, we are saying if input text is not none, and inside that we will have our button. So we'll if st.button, let's call it analyze text. That's it. And for now I'll just do a pass here. So let me just do pass. Okay, perfect. And if you come, I'll do a rerun. Now you see we have this option, enter your text and then analyze text. Good. So what we are going to do, guys, we are going to use some of the text from the internet. Let's use this article from republicworld.com where I found this article that Prime Minister Modi on Air India Airbus deal reflects deepening ties between India and France. This is a very recent article. There's been a trade deal that has happened between France and India, where India have kind of got around 200 odd aircraft, right? They have signed this deal. So I'm going to just use this. Okay, so for now, if I just come over here and just paste it, and try with India France, I'll just paste this. So we can take this entire content also. Let me just take it few of the lines from there. You can take any other text as well. So let me just take this text paragraph, Control V, and this, and let's take up to this. Or maybe we can also take this line till the Tata group. Perfect. So suppose, for example, if this is our text, okay, this is some of the text or article or content that we have. Okay, now we want to analyze this text and we want to find out some key insights. Okay, what this text is all about. We are finding, we can find it all the positive words or the insights or the the word cloud that we have to create for the visualization. We can also find out the summary because there are a few other paragraphs. We have more than 2 paragraphs. Now if you want to make it concise in a single paragraph, how we can also summarize it, right? So if you see this kind of news articles, you see a lot of media houses like InSort, for example, in India, where they kind of provide you a very crisp news, a summary of news article, and they have their USP in that. Okay, so similarly we can also create something like that. So if you see this analyze text, now what I'm going to do, it's very difficult to read this. So when we click on analyze text, we'd like to read this as well. Okay, so how we can do that? Okay. So let's first present this text, the input text, and we can do that through a status message. So if st.button analyze text, what I'm going to do now next, st.markdown. So if you haven't used Streamlit yet, or if you have limited knowledge, so Streamlit kind of supports markdown. Okay, and where you can create documentation, or you can write the text inside a markdown format as well. So I'll have st.markdown, and in that st.markdown I'll have will write your text, and then here I'll use st.info, for example, and in st.info I'll have input text. I just want to present that so we can read it, what we have entered as our text. And st.info, now let's see that. If you have the option rerun, I rerun it, and now I'll hit the button analyze text. What it will do, it will give me this option where I can read it. So we have used in a status message. You can also do st.write, streamlit.write, where you can just get it as a pure text, like it will print you on this Streamlit UI. So st.write works the same way, where we have print function in Python. So the same way, but I just do not want to do that. I want to do that in this way, where I like to use that in a status message, where you have st.info, you have st.warnings, you have st.errors, and you have st.success. Okay, so Now this is the text. Now we want to analyze this text, and this text can be anything. You have 100 or 500 words, or you have an article. You can also have a file uploader and use some libraries to use that doc or docx or PDF like PyPDF2 or PDF Miner or PDF Plumber, and you can get the text out of it. So this is just for the capabilities to see that how we can use GPT-3 to find out some key insights, and how you can use couple of libraries with GPT-3 to come up with some of the insights, okay, on this Streamlit application. So if you see your text area, we have your text. In this input text area, we have entered the text, and now we are getting this your text. Now the first thing what I'd like to do is to write the function now. Okay, let's write the function to generate the insight. So I will go back to VS Code, and here I will start writing the code. So first thing what we need, we have to first import some of the libraries, and then we also have to define the constants, okay, like the API keys and some of the others. The first thing is what I'll do, I'll import Spacy. So I'm importing Spacy here, and okay, I'll do that. We need this core web SM small. They also have large LG, and you can also download it, keep it in the folder, and you can also, if you load it from here, okay, you have to install it through the Python command. It downloads it and keeps in the local cache. Okay, we need it to these are all pre-trained, okay, in Spacy. Okay, so import Spacy, and now what we have to do, we also have to import OpenAI, because we are going to use OpenAI, and once we import OpenAI, we also have to import okay, let me first do one thing. From Spacy, we also have to import something called Displacy, where we have to show this in a visual form, the named entity recognition. Okay, so Spacy, from Spacy import Displacy, and we have import OpenAI. Now what we can also do, after import OpenAI, we can also do from WordCloud, because we need to do WordCloud. So from WordCloud, import WordCloud. Okay, from WordCloud. So we'll use WordCloud. So WordCloud is nothing but the visual representation of your entire text or the text that you have. It kind of tries to find out all the most emphasized word, or the most repetitive or unique word as well. Now you can also customize it. If you want to eliminate stop words, you have some list defined, some custom list. You can also customize this WordCloud completely. You can go through their documentation. There are a lot of videos already available for WordCloud. So we are going to keep it simple. We're not going to customize this. We'll just use this as a default. So from WordCloud, import WordCloud, and then we also need to import some of the utilities. So import OS and import regex, import re, and yeah, so import OS. Let's also import JSON if you need that to handle the OpenAI result. So import JSON, and now what else we have to do? We have to also need to handle this env through load.env. So what we have to do, let's import that. So from .env, excuse me, load.env. Okay, and now here what we will do, guys, we will first need to so we have one of the constant NLP where we are loading this, that will be your constant. We're not going to change these values or change this thing. So first thing is, let's set up the OpenAI API keys here. So I just can do this. This looks good. Okay, so if you see this, I'm not going to do this right now. I'm using Tab9, guys. Tab9, is kind of an auto code completion plugin in VS Code. It's kind of works same way with like Kite or GitHub Copilot. Not that capable as GitHub Copilot, very advanced, but you can also use Tab9. It kind of helps you write code faster. So what we are doing, we are using this method load.env, and then we are getting this OpenAI.API_key. And guys, this is important. So this is nothing but the name that I have kept inside this env file. This is my name. If you are keeping it something else, you have to keep it accordingly. Okay, now I have set up my OpenAI API keys. Okay, this is and this is also done, NLP. Now let's write the function. The first function should be for basically the let's write it for WordCloud. Function for generating the WordCloud. This is going to be my first function, and I'll call this function for WordCloud. And what it says, it's suggesting me that generate WordCloud input text, background color white, maximum generate ht.image WordCloud. Okay, let me hit tab and we can make these changes. And now I don't like to keep this background color as white. What I have to do, I like to prefer a black background for my word cloud, which is basically nothing but the image, and then we have maximum word and maximum font size. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a couple of other functions, a couple of other parameters as well. So I also have, minimum font size, that will be, let's call it 10. Let's do this. Okay, so it will be, or Alt G, if I do Alt G. Okay, so we have generate word cloud input text, and this is okay. Doc NLP input text word cloud equals to word cloud background color equals to black. Okay, and maximum words, like, okay, this is the maximum word 1000. Okay, this would be my limit, and then maximum font size. Okay, that the words font that we have, it's not be more than 100 pixels if I'm not wrong. This is all pixels, and this minimum font size 10, and then generate, and then I have this variable doc. Okay, this is what we are doing. Now what we can do, guys, okay, I don't want to use this ht.image here. I want to save this word cloud locally. So I'll say word cloud dot, not to save, we'll say to file. I'll use this to file function, and here I will use this file name, which is nothing but the wordcloud.png. Okay, let's call it a png, and then I will do a return wordcloud.png. Return wordcloud.png, but this is a string. Okay, now so this is our function for generating the word cloud. So generate word cloud input text, this is the ask that we have, and then we have doc NLP input text, and yeah, so this is good, but this will not be NLP. Okay, I don't think we need this. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's remove this, we do not need it, and let's just pass the text as it is, input text, but we can also give some of the parameters. Okay, excuse me, let me just this input text. Yeah, we have this input. Now we can also pass some of the other things like width and height. How what should be your width and height of the image that we are getting. Okay, so let's call it 800 and 800. So the first thing is width, and this should be 800, and then I have the height, it should also be 800. Okay, so I need 800 cross 800 image. Okay, background color black, maximum words 1000. Let's remove this maximum words, do not need right now. Let's not keep any limits. Okay, maximum font size 100, minimum font size 10, and generate input text. This looks good. Okay, so now what we can do, how we can visualize this, guys, so here you see we have ht.info input text. Now let's go back to the UI ones. So Streamlit also provides you an option where you can divide the page that we have, or the UI that we have in, or the layout basically, let's call it layout. So it also gives you an option to divide the layout. Okay, set the layout through columns. Now if you want to use 2 or 3 columns here, you want to divide this, you can also do that. So how we do that? So the first thing is, let's divide into 3 columns. So first I will call it like this. So this is done. I will head back here and okay, excuse me, not this. Here I'll say column 1, column 2, and column 3. Then my 3 columns I need, and I'll call it ht.columns. I'll have this function. Within the function I will use a list, and then I will categorize this. I will set the layout accordingly, how much weightage that I want to give. So if I want to categorize this 1, 2, and 1, and I'll explain that why I'm taking 1, 2, and 1. So excuse me, column 2 will have more width, and column 1 and column 3 will have same width. Okay, so it will be twice the width of 1 and 3, the column 2 that where we will show our word cloud, because that's an image. We need to show it in a like a good height and width resolution, right? So this is column 1, column 2, column 3. Now let's do one thing. Let's write for the column 1. The first thing is with column 1, ht.image generate word cloud input text. Already took the function. For now I'll just call it pass. Okay, let's keep that image word cloud in column 2, where we have to show it in column 2. So we have to pass that word cloud function, the generate word cloud function, on this input text that we have. So how do we do that? So for that we'll use this. First let's write a markdown. So ht.markdown, and I'll not call it your text, I'll call it word cloud. So this is going to be my word cloud, and here I will write the function, use the function ht.image. This is our function generate word cloud, and the variable where we are storing this text, that input text. Now let's run that and see if we are able to get the desired response. In this case, everything looks good so far. Okay, let's run it, and I'll just hit the analyze text. So you can see we are getting this word cloud, right? Very beautiful word cloud, and we have a dark theme for this word cloud. If you keep this option of background color as white, you will get this word cloud in a white background. You can completely customize it. It has a lot of arcs and params that you can tweak it. So if I go back to this UI, you can see that we entered our text first, and then we presented that text inside a status message like this info, and then we are generating this word cloud, guys, okay, with the help of word cloud library. And you can find it out. They are talking about security, aerospace, aviation, and they're also talking about Prime Minister Modi, Tata Group, France, and all these most words in a visual way, right? We are getting a visual representation of this entire text that we have. So you see, this is the middle of the layout that we have set, and we have option here. You see, this is the that we divided into 1, 2, and 1. This is the twice of this, right? The first column and the third column. Now in the first column, guys, we'll try to see if we can use OpenAI API DaVinci 3 model to generate some key insights, and in this column 3 we'll find out the most positive words. Now let's go back to VS Code and start writing the code. We'll write the function for function to derive key insights. Using OpenAI GPT3 APIs, GPT3 models for now. Okay, so we have already used .env, where we are kind of set up our environment keys, the API keys using this environment. Now we'll just write that. So let's call it def and generate key insight. We do not need all those things. They're using this tab 9 is showing me this rejects and all. We don't need it. So we'll have an input text, and here what we're going to do, guys, we are going to first use the same thing. So response, and then here let me just show you one thing. So what we can also do, guys, let me go back to this playground. Now I'm on this playground. What I'll do, I'll say, hey, please derive key insights from the below text, and let's do one thing. Please derive key insights in the maximum of 5 bullet points. Okay, this is my prompt that I am sending it to GPT-3 DaVinci 3 model. This is why I'm doing the prompt engineering. So please derive key insights in the maximum of 5 bullet points from the below text. Now what we can do, we can come back to this Streamlit application. We'll copy this text. We'll go to playground. This is nothing but the playground. I will hit this, and this is my text. And I'm asking DaVinci 3 model to give me the key insights out of it, and I'll just say submit. So you can find it out some of the parameters here. We have model selected as DaVinci 3. We have temperature as 0.7. We have the maximum length as 256, and we have some other parameters like penalties and top p and all those things. And let's submit that. Once I submit that, you can see that I'm getting these findings, which is currently in the green label. In few seconds it will be like the same. So you can see I'm getting these key insights in 5 bullet points in max, and we're talking about PM Modi and French President Macron launched the new Air India Airbus partnership. The deal reflects the deepening ties between India and France, and the Make in India scheme and Make in World scheme of Prime Minister Modi, right? So what we can also do, why I'm showing you this, okay, if you have no idea that how to integrate OpenAI APIs in a Python application, they also give you an option called view code. Okay, so if you click on that view code, you can see that you can also do a post request directly if you have your account on OpenAI dashboard. Okay, you can do a post request, and of course you need this API key that you will get it from this dashboard here. Let's copy this code. What I will do, I will copy this and I will come back here on generate key insights. I'll just paste it, and once I pasted it, I will remove all this. I don't need all these things. Okay, these are all my text that I pasted it there. Okay, let me just remove it. You see, I have removed it, right? So now let me explain. So we have this OpenAI. We do not need this import. We already have imported. I think we need OS as well. We have OS, very good. And now let me just do the indentation here, and I'll do a tab. Perfect. And let me remove this. We also do not need this thing. So the guys, first thing is the response. Okay, we need this completion engine. Okay, with nothing but the model that we need to use. So if you are using the default model from OpenAI dashboard, you have to give this DaVinci 3. If you want to fine tune the already existing model on your custom data, you can also do that, and in that case this model name will be changed accordingly. Then I'm doing the prompt, very simple prompt engineering. I have a prompt that, okay, please derive key insights in the maximum of 5 bullet points from the below text. And here what I will do, guys, I'll have this input text here. Now I have this input text, sorry, not interrupted error. This is what happens when you use this auto completion plugins. Okay, so input text. So this input text as a parameter that I have in this function, I'm just passing it here now with this prompt. And I have I'll keep this as default temperature. Basically this is for creativity and randomness in your answers. And max tokens, like setting up the maximum limit of the tokens are basically not exactly the words, but I think 4 letters kind of combines, and we call it as a single token. Okay, and then we have couple of frequency penalty that if it's based on reinforcement learning, right? So and in the human feedback loop, that we have to set all these parameters to get the best out of DaVinci 3 or any other GPT-3 models. So if you see that we have generate key insights, and this is the function. Now what we can do, guys, we have to, this function is still not complete. Okay, we have to return. So now let's return this, return response choice text, the first one and the text. Okay, I only need the text and that to the first one, the choices. So this is the return, and this is coming again from that guys OpenAI that we have over here, that we are using this from the playground. So if you come back, we have already written the function for generating the key insights, but how we can use this? Okay, let's use this. So what I'm going to do now, we have returned, we'll come back here and we'll use in the same way. Okay, but not here in the column 1. So in column 1 we like to use this. So first is ht.markdown, and I think this makes sense. ht.info, let's call it success. So let's use this function of Streamlit success and generate key insight. I think this is the function name as well, generate key insight. Perfect. And then we have passing the variable here, and this is the key insight, the markdown. Now let's run the code and see if we are able to get the desired response. I'll hit that analyze text again. So here we go, guys. You can see the key insight that we have, or the same key insight in the 5 pointers that we have done the prompt engineering. So this was my text, enter text. You can read it over here, that it's talking about, Prime Minister is talking about the trade deal that they have done with France, okay, for these aircrafts, and we are generating the key insights out of it. Okay, let's call it, by the way, key insights, not inside, but I'll just save it. I'll not run right now. So the first one is Air India and Airbus have entered into a landmark partnership. The partnership reflects the deepening ties between India and France, and the deal will expand Air India's fleet and operations with the addition of 250 aircraft, including 40 wide-body aircraft. And the deal is the first order placed under Tata Group's ownership of Air India in 17 years. And PM Modi has emphasized the Make in India, Make for the World vision that we have, right? Which is creating many opportunities in aerospace manufacturing. This is fantastic, right? And this is what we have, generated from this text that we have, right? So key insights. Now, what we can also do apart from key insights, we can also find out the most positive word. Okay, now if you want to find out the positive words that have been published in this text news that we have, right? This news article over here. Okay, so let's do that. So how we can do that as well? Let's go back to the code again, and here we'll write the function. So I'm writing it function to generate function to generate not generate function to find out the most positive word in the text using DaVinci 003, and here we'll write the function. So define get most positive words, and again the parameter input text, and here we'll write the same thing. So let's use the same thing over here. I'll just change the prompt. So I'm just going to use the same function, and here I will not use this prompt here. Please derive key insights in the maximum of 5 bullet points. Rather I will say, hey, this will be the same. I just change this. Please find out the most positive words in the below text. This is going to be my function and the prompt for this particular task, and I will go back and I will use this column 3 now. So how we can use this column 3? With column 3, you can see it's tab 9 is already suggesting me. So same way we are using this markdown where we have this label most positive words, and then we are using this function to get this most positive words. Now let's run that. So you can see we also got most positive words here. Okay, so if you see this option in the column that we are using, so this was the column 1, column 2, which is twice the width and height of this column 1 and column 2. So this column 3 we have most positive words. In most positive words we are getting it reflect successes and aspirations, and we are talking about vision and in purchase and aircraft. These are most positive words in that text that we have above here. You can see this. So we are all this getting that you see this key insights and most positive words with the help of GPT-3. Okay, and this we got with the help of WordCloud library, basically to represent it in a visual way. Now what we can also do, guys, we can also do this named entity recognition. We can perform this with the help of Spacy, named entity recognition. Let's do that. How we can also do this named entity recognition thing here. So I'll go back and I'll write the function here for that named entity recognition, and I'll call function to perform NER using Spacy. This is what I'm going to do. Function 2. So Spacy is a very powerful natural language processing library. It's one of my favorite libraries. I've been using it for years now at my workplace, and even on the enterprise scale solutions. It's extremely powerful. You can also fine tune a lot of pre-trained Spacy models on your data as well. You have your custom data, you annotate and you perform natural, named entity recognition. You perform some other tasks like, fuzzy matching or keywords matching and some other tasks as well. It's extremely powerful. And so I think they have also released their version 3. Okay, Spacy version 3. You can also use that. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to use this NER thing. I'll call it NER, named entity recognition. and I will have my input text over here again, and here I will write the code for performing this named entity recognition. The first thing is we have to use NLP dot, NLP equal to Spacy dot load, and I'll use this en core web sm. This is what I'm going to do. We are here loading it, right? En core web sm, and then this doc equal to NLP and input text. Okay, and then what we have to do, this is very important because Streamlit also provides you a library called Spacy Streamlit. Okay, you can also use that. So I will not use that. I will keep it very simple from scratch that we do with the help of Spacy already. So we are going to use something called Spacy, where we will visualize this named entity recognition in a very beautiful way that you will see. So let's do that. So we have doc, and now we're going to do HTML, okay, that variable, and that will use Spacy here. So what I'm going to do, Spacy dot render, and here in Spacy dot render, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use this doc and then the style. So we have a couple of style here in which way you want this entity. So the first is entity, we have some others as well. So style equal to int, I need in entities with int style, and then we can also use couple of other parameters. If you are doing this in a Jupyter notebook, how you can also do it, guys, that you can use this parameter called Jupyter equals to true. If you are trying to get this named entity recognition in a visual way using Spacy, you have to do it true or false. So for this case I will keep it false, that I don't need it. Now if I just return this HTML, I will not be able to get the desired response, okay, because Streamlit don't provide that right now like this. You can use Spacy Streamlit library to do that. So what I have to do, okay, let me first do one thing, okay, and I want to remove this line breaks. Okay, if you have multiple line breaks, you can also remove that. So let's do HTML dot replace, and in HTML dot replace, I will replace this with not single line break. If you have multiple line breaks, so with single, this is okay. And now HTML dot replace, this is okay. Perfect. HTML display. And now let's do one thing. Now how would you visualize this? Okay, so for visualizing, what we have to do, we have to basically use this. I have this gist in Streamlit. I will just copy this. I'll share this gist link into it, and this is the constant, so I will define it above here somewhere. Let me define this maybe after this. So we do not need this anymore because I think we are already using this inside the function. So this HTML wrapper, and now what I will do, guys, I will just use this HTML wrapper over here. Okay, so this is done. Spacy.render, HTML.replace, and here what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this HTML wrapper dot format HTML, and I'll use this option HTML format HTML. I'm going to use this function unsafe. I'm going to use unsafe allow HTML. Okay, so unsafe allow HTML equals to true. This will be in this HTML wrapper dot format. Let's just do ht.write, and let's close this. Okay, we do not need this, so this is done. HTML underscore wrapper dot format, and I think this is done for named entity recognition. HTML wrapper dot format HTML unsafe allow HTML. Now what we can do, let me just remove these spaces, come back here, and here we can write, excuse me, so we'll not use this column anymore, that 3 column that we have divided. If you come over here on the app, we have this 3 column, this is already occupied. So we'll visualize this, or we'll perform this named entity recognition task over here in the below section, and then it will look a little nice as well. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. Okay, so if I come back here, I'm going to do ht.markdown first, ht.markdown, and in this ht.markdown I'm going to again use the same thing, named entity recognition, recognition. I think this is misspelled. Yeah, and here I will use that function. Okay, ner input text. This is what I'm going to do. So I think this looks nice. We have, let me just check the function once again. So HTML wrapper. In this HTML wrapper, what we are doing, guys, we are using this. If you see, we have some border, we have some radius, and we have this, basically it's a div style and HTML div style, where we are using this unsafe allow HTML parameter within the Streamlit write function to allow this external HTML tags that we have to make it a little fancy. And now let's run that, and I'll hit this analyze text. Once you hit the analyze text, you can see that we have our text over here, that input text. We have this key insights, word cloud, and this most positive words, that we'll see that positive words that we are getting. It says got an unexpected keyword argument Jupiter. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's go back to Jupiter. Let's remove this Jupiter equal to false. And what I will do, I'll just try it again. But let me just see one thing, why it's saying Jupiter, which is yeah. Meanwhile, we'll see that. Okay, but I think let me just do one thing. Let me first remove this Jupiter. We'll see why we are not getting this Jupiter equal to false. Name, I think I forgot to close this. So named entity recognition, and once you hit that again, analyze text. Once you hit this analyze, you can see that's running over here. Okay, but let me go back to this terminal. Why is taking that much of time? Let me just control C. The model is currently overloaded with other requests. Okay, let me just do one thing. Let me refresh this terminal and paste the text, analyze text again. You can see that we received our your text that again here in this visual this status message, and we got the key insights, the first thing in the column 1, and the word cloud and the most positive word. If you see the key insights, we are getting as it is the word cloud and the most positive word, and here we are getting this named entity recognition. Now if you see the named entity recognition that we we are using Spacy to do that, it kind of, you can see some of the labels there, labels with different colors, right? We have this person. If you see person like Macron or Prime Minister Modi, and we also talking about some facts. We are talking about some organizations like Air India or Airbus. We also have GPE, which is nothing but the geography. So we have India, France. So this is very helpful, guys. Named entity recognition. If you want to extract some information, some entities, okay, from your text data, the unstructured text data, you can also sort it out. Now, for example, imagine if you have plethora of documents, okay, or the huge abundance of text data where you want to find it out all the person's name. Okay, you can just use this function. You can sort it out with the help of person. You have this ent. We are using this. If you come back over in the VS Code, we have this style equal to ent, right? You can sort it with the ent, and you can pass this inside a list of the person name. You can get all the person, you can get all the organizations or the GPE, and the cardinal values are the numbers. You can also annotate your own data, okay, with the help of a lot of text annotator tools. Now, for example, if you want to extract like restaurant name, or if you want to extract like your software's name, inside text document, or Python library's name inside a API or documentation or manuals, you can also use that text, annotate that text, and then fine tune on the Spacy models. Okay, train it, and then you can also use it the same way. So you can see that we have got this named entity recognition on this input text. So what we did in this video, if you see this, we have created an application, a Streamlit application, GPT-3 powered text analytics app. We are giving a text input and we are deriving some key insights. We are also getting some most positive words. We are getting this WordCloud, which is nothing but the visual representation of your entire text data or text. And then we have this named entity recognition, where we are doing this, performing this NER with the help of Spacy, right? So this is what we wanted to do in this video, guys, and I think we are able to get desired response. You can also extend this. You can also add sentiment. You can also use text blob or any other wider sentiment or any other libraries to perform sentiment analytics on this text data. You can also find out the summary. I think that will not be that difficult to do. Let's try that as well. Let's see if we can try that. So please derive key insights in the maximum of 5 bullet points, and I'll just use and generate summary, okay, within 3 sentences from the below text. Now I'm adding this extra feature there. I like to get the summary as well. Okay, now let's see if we are able to get that, okay, using GPT-3. So I'll just again hit the analyze text, and now we started analyzing this text. Okay, first it will get this your text and key insights. I think it's being overloaded, but anyway, you can see we are getting this key insights, and we also got this summary, guys. If you see, these are the summary now that we are getting. The Air India Airbus partnership launched by PM Modi reflects the ties between India and France. And so earlier we were getting these key insights, and now you're also getting the summary in it. Okay, so you can again use the sentiment. We have the classification preset in GPT-3. If you come back over here on the playground, okay, let me close that. You can also do that if you see this classification. So we are getting key insights, summaries, word cloud, most positive words, and this named entity recognition. So in this video, we created a very simple application on a very small text, a couple of paragraphs, and we derived these insights, okay, with the help of GPT-3, WordCloud library, and Spacy libraries. If you want to try this, if you want to extend or add something in this application, you will get the code here on the AI Anytime GitHub repository. You can see this GPT-3 powered text analytics app. And guys, if you want to do a pull request, if you want to add or make any changes, please do that. Please do a pull request, and we'll also see how we can extend this application. So if you are liking the content I'm creating, please like this video, and please also subscribe the channel. Please share this video and the channel with your friends and to the peer. So thank you so much for watching this video, guys. See you in the next video.